It's Truth Squad, and today we're going to talk about how things are on the planet and how things are going to be changed. Currently on planet Earth, we have what are known as arbitrary laws and arbitrary regulations. What does it mean? These are rules and regulations that are enforced that have no rational need for these things. There's no rationality whatsoever. It is simply arbitrary. Never-ending examples. The example I just had was I was told that I could not open something that I just bought at a store in the store. It's totally arbitrary. There is no word except why does this happen? It happens because it happens. There are people paid to draft laws and draft rules and regulations. Usually they have a legal background. So that's something that we are going to have to change. Gross abuse of everything keeps coming up. In other words, we are abused. We are so abused, we're totally used to it, and we don't even know half the time when we're being abused because we are born into a system of abuse. It's not going to interest anybody what exactly I bought. I bought pot. And at the pot store, they have a recycle bin as you just exit the store. So you've got an old container. They have hard plastic containers. And they encourage you to recycle them. So I just pulled out my recyclable and I opened up to check to see that it was indeed the one that was empty. And when I did that, the security guard said, "You can't do that here." And that's what I'm calling arbitrary. It's stupid. What do you mean? You know, I just bought this from your store. Maybe I want to open it up and see that I got what, it just says what this is on the outside. Maybe I want to check to see that it was packed properly before I leave the store. Because I don't know how many times I've been to McDonald's drive-through where they didn't give me the right number of hamburgers that I paid for. So, basic consumer 101 is check to make sure that what you bought is what you ordered. You can't do that at a pot shop. Why? It's totally arbitrary. It makes no sense. I'm not smoking anything in the pot shop. I'm simply wanting to look inside to see what's in these containers. We are ordered around by people that we never even met. I never met these lawyers who drafted these rules and regulations. I never met them. They never interviewed me, they never surveyed me or anybody else. They just cooked up these rules and regulations and got paid handsomely to do it. And now, I don't live in a free world. There's so many of these kind of arbitrary rules, laws, regulations, and all they do is, in search of, and a better word, keep pissing me off. How can you insert yourself into a different place where you don't have rules and regulations? I don't know. So the only other option is we gotta change. Right here on planet Earth, we gotta change everything because it is all designed to control us. And it's not for our personal safety. It's not for societal benefit. It's simply because some fuckhead wrote the regulations on THC for the province of Ontario, and now I got to abide by it. It's the same thing in a million other examples that I'm sure you'll come across. These things have got to go. How is it going to happen? Well, I keep telling people that you cannot fix the systems of control to make them work for you, because they are designed for what we call the 3D world, where humans are chattel. In other words, you are not free. You are owned. In this case, you're owned by the province of Ontario. Big Brother tells you what to do. In other kinds of worlds where they don't have these control structures, people don't even get involved with other people. They don't. They don't control other people. They don't get involved with other people. What do? They don't. They don't do. They simply are there to be the one who is there. They are truly beings. They're not doings. And on planet Earth, even though we're called human beings, we don't do that. We're human doers. Do massive action. And other ones are going to say, well, if you don't go out with your farm tractor to harvest the wheat, you're not going to have bread. The point of the matter is you don't understand that these particular instruments that we call vessels or bodies will do what's necessary because they are guided and run by higher intelligence. If they are not hindered by let's call it our minds, because our minds are usually what are doing the hindering. Your mind is a control freak. Everyone else's is too. It wants to control outcomes because it believes that there is great scarcity on planet Earth, and if I don't control the outcome, that I go and get all the stuff that I need, it ain't gonna get done. But none of us understands how all of this is going to be organized with higher intelligence, because it ain't here. How do we invite higher intelligence to be here? We got to keep asking for it. Some people might say prayer. Some people might say any other thing. The point of the matter is, if we don't invite higher intelligence to help us, it ain't coming. It ain't going to force itself on us. It is totally backwards to the way things are on planet Earth. And that's why we don't understand. Why isn't it already here? Higher consciousness. It has to be invited because it is not a slave owner. It will not enslave you. Higher intelligence respects your freedom. And the way things are set up here on planet Earth, higher intelligence is only going to step in for you if you ask it. Now, if you are wondering, is there higher intelligence at work with my situation? I'm going to ask you, did you ask it to come in and help you? In other words, are you praying? I don't know how to pray. Well, pretty much everyone on the planet probably feels like that, even if they've been going to church for their whole life. So I don't really know. So the whole point of it is you have to have intention. And however that ends up being, if you have an intention that you're inviting higher consciousness to come and help you in your situation today and every day, then you simply have got to say it. Higher consciousness, I would love to have you guide me all the time. Because I've been running it the other way where my ego has been doing it. And, generally speaking, my ego's not done a very good job. What if you're like Bill Gates and you've got all this money? The point of the matter is your expectations as a human being are bigger than your pocketbook pretty much for everyone. And that means even though you would love to travel, you are often restricted to perhaps 2 weeks vacation a year by your owner, and your owner doesn't pay you enough so that you can really live on your 2-week vacation. Why? Because the world is the world the way it is. Higher intelligence, if it does come in, is going to help guide you through a very difficult world. Higher intelligence invited in by you is not going to change all the rest of planet Earth, as much as you would love it. No, you're going to get personal guidance on how to go about your day each and every day. And maybe it's going to have you talking to people. I don't know. You're you, and higher intelligence is not going to get me involved with you. That's the other thing. Higher intelligence is really not going to be digging into your personal affairs. It's not. It is simply there to guide you through a difficult world. And all the other changes that I'm talking about are only going to happen if there is a critical mass of humans. A critical mass of humans who say, we want change. How many is a critical mass? Well, I don't even know, and no information is coming to me. Is it 50%? No, it's not coming. There's no information on the critical mass. The only message that keeps coming is, you need help. You. And if you want help, you simply have got to ask for it. Do you have to ask every day for higher intelligence to come in? The answer is no. If you're very clear that you want this to be an ongoing thing. What if you have a bad time and you say, higher consciousness is not working out for me? Well, then you can say, I don't want any more guidance from you, and go back to being run by your, however you did it before. It's not going to force itself on you, and it's not going to check in on you. It's not your mother. Is it? No, it is simply higher consciousness, and we're not going to put any limits to it. What if you made a mistake? There's always going to be mistakes. That's being human. But this information that I'm passing on to you is so that you can have some help. If you ask for higher consciousness and you don't get higher consciousness, then what? Then you're going to try to figure out what on earth is going on. And who are you going to ask? Well, you're going to have to ask higher consciousness, higher intelligence, and see what transpires from that.